I believe this is working better now. Okay. Is this one working? Is this one working? Okay. One of those two is going through. Hey, dude.
Hey, I hear you.
Yeah.
I just hung up on Bianca.
Yeah, well, that's what you're supposed to do.
She was mid-sentence, I think.
Good.
I think this is... Hold on. Can you see me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Which one do I need to end? This one? You were in a video call. This was...
There you go. Jason. Okay.
Did I hang up on you?
Maybe.
Hold on.
Hi.
How do I get back to there?
I don't. You're right here, Jason.
yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
There you go. There you go.
I see you.
Yeah, I don't know why my computer wasn't recognizing the microphone.
How do you-
So
Weird.
I
How
tried to
come
use
you're
a new
not full
mic.
screen?
What?
You're in a video call. Oh, there it is. Never mind.
I tried to get a new microphone, and it didn't.
Didn't take.
Well,
Oh,
my computer had to be reset or restarted to recognize it or whatever. So that's.
but you are able to use it now?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, good.
You sound crystal
like it.
clear.
Yeah, the last couple times I sounded a little tinny, so I was trying to find something new, but I don't know.
It works now.
It
Kind of
does
feels
work
like we're
now.
in the same room.
That's crazy.
Okay, I have to think of a third thing.
Are you taking a screenshot?
Yeah, somebody else talk
What?
for a little bit.
Blah blah
What?
blah blah blah
No,
blah.
my hair looks horrible.
Blah blah
Let me
blah
put a hat.
All right, I got one with Bianca, so we'll just cut your hair out of it, Jason.
No, hold on.
You're
Let me
in the
put a
little
hat on,
tiny
and then maybe we'll get all of us.
Okay,
I don't think that's how that
that's not how that works, but that's all right. He wants a hat, he gets a hat. That's how it is.
That's better. That's better.
All right, J-Dog,
The two-headed guy.
the two-headed guy. All right, you got to talk,
Why? I
because
don't
that's
think
when
it's-
you come full screen. Is when you're
Oh,
talking.
okay. How you doing? Feeling good. Feeling good.
All right, I'll put these up there.
This week in gratitude.
This week in gratitude.
Gratitude.
All right, I'm gonna screw around with that while we're chatting. So
Okay. Where do we? Who goes where and when?
I don't know. It's been a little while. I think we can
I'm gonna
reset.
think of a pop culture thing. Hold on. I have it written down.
It's only been a month, so
I
it's
don't know.
gonna be hard to come up with three things. You know.
I miss you
think-
guys, man. I'm glad we're
Oh
back
my-
together.
Oh my goodness. I'm glad we're back together too.
Yeah. I listened to a podcast and I realized I don't really listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! I like
Maybe-
exclusively listen
I
to
know.
podcasts.
I know. But it's just, I think there's different, I don't know, different mediums for different people. Maybe that we should talk about that sometime.
I think Greg.
why don't I
picked.
like, I don't like to listen to people talk, I guess. Maybe I
think
just like to
picked
hear
last.
my
Yeah,
own.
you like to talk is the difference.
Yeah, I think that's why. Maybe it comes down to people who like to listen, like
Yeah.
podcasts,
I think that's
or
that's
who like to
awesome.
learn.
People who like to
who
learn for sure.
People who are humble, like
Let's
podcasts.
not get carried away.
Angels mostly.
Angels.
I recently started listening to my podcast 1.2 speed, so I can listen to more podcasts in the day.
I like that. That's cool.
1.2, and you can barely tell. I mean, except for the ones that I used to listen to at 1 speed, I can kind of tell like their voices are a little different, but it's not that different. But
I haven't been able to bring myself to do that yet, B, but I probably should.
0.2. I would only go 0.2 for now. I've been trying to do a 0.3 and I just can't handle it.
It's too much.
What do you look for in a good podcast, Bianca? Because maybe it's the wrong podcast I started with. You remember that Tim Story guy?
Yeah.
He just started a podcast and I listened to it.
Oh, wait,
I tried to listen to it. Tim
Oh,
Story.
yeah.
He shared it off with me in California.
Yes.
It's like a super surfer. They called him like hippie Jesus or.
He has a
Jesus.
podcast.
Yeah, about outrigging canoeing.
Very
So why would you
specific.
ever listen to that?
I don't know, because Tim Story, I love the guy, but then I was like, man, this isn't it. Well, so what do you look for at a good, or what do you listen for? That'd probably be a more appropriate question.
I don't want to. Okay, well, people who know things, so people who aren't just like putting a microphone up and being like, "I think this might be true," and I can't stand when people do that. Like a little bit of research is nice. A lot of the pods I listen to are actually that's not true because one of my favorite pods, the Podcast, which I recommended here, it's just two friends talking about baseball. And
yeah, we have to talk about that because I listened to that over the summer because
you didn't like it.
No, I do like it, but they did an episode on salty snacks.
I listened to that one, yeah.
And that's just insane. Like they were wrong on.
Yeah.
Okay, so first off, sorry,
this is a little
inside baseball, but how does Cheetos count as a salty snack?
Yeah, exactly. And they were like all peanut, all nuts.
I've never listened to the pet podcast, but I agree with them. That is a salty snack. Because it's the opposite.
But it's not what you think of when you think of salty snacks.
No,
it should be on the list.
Tortilla chips, potato chips,
popcorn,
like pretzels.
I throw Cheetos in there.
I think someone chose all chips in that round.
It does feel like the Cheetos doesn't have. I don't like.
Maybe not enough salt for you.
Yeah, its dominant characteristic has nothing to do with salt.
But I think it doesn't have sugar, so therefore it's salty. That's why.
I'm sure it has sugar in it, Jason.
I know, but it's like the opposite of sweet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a cheesy.
I know that one was so funny because they did not choose any of the ones that I thought they would.
No, and the order was ridiculous.
Oh my gosh, they're just so funny. Yeah.
Is there a Pearl Jam or a music one that you would recommend?
Yeah, sometimes I've mentioned a few times. I used to listen to this guy's podcast. His name's Stephen Hayden. He's a writer. It's called Celebration Rock. But then I found myself just not catching up on some of the episodes, so I deleted it. But every once in a while, I'll look back at his titles because he's a music critic music.
Hey,
writer.
Bianca, are you on Instagram?
Yes.
What's your view on Instagram?
Bianca6, I think. Yeah, Bianca.
All right, text me a link to that guy.
And so his are about music. And so every once in a while I'll tune in because I like the title or who he's interviewing. And he's very smart. Like that's one of the pods where I'm like he's very knowledgeable and I learn a lot from him. And then I listen to like political ones.
Let's just start with the music one. I think that's where I'm gonna start.
Celebration Rock.
You'll like Malcolm Gladwell's.
Oh, I listen to Malcolm Gladwell. That's like the most amount of research anyone ever does.
Text me that link too.
Yeah,
because he was on. I loved when he was on Colbert, Late Night with Colbert.
Yeah, did you listen to the George Jones one, Craig?
Oh my gosh, that was amazing. I think.
I thought you might like that one
for sure, but.
What? Oh,
that's on my list of potential number 3s. So
I know. I texted my stepdad and I was like, once you gather the emotional fortitude, you should probably listen to this episode. But I don't think he's listened to it yet. That's a very sad song.
Travis Wright sent me that one and said, "Hey, you need to make sure you listen to this one, and don't let Abby hear it, or it's going to confuse her about your emotional depth." And I was like, "All right." All right, so I think I picked last time.
I think you did too.
I don't know what that means though.
And then the time before. Ooh, I can't. So.
Does it mean Bianca gets to go first this time?
It might have been me the time before you, though.
Please be Bianca going first.
Why? I can if you want. Why? Because you have some ones I'm not going to choose. I really do think it was me, Jason, you, so it is me again.
You again. Yes.
Yes.
Why? Because you have like crazy.
You're doing the best, B. Everybody loves them. That's people's favorite part of the podcast.
You're joking. I feel like my picks are just like your picks.
That's not the pick. It's the introduction.
Yeah.
Wait, the person who picks does the intro?
No.
Oh, dang. I should have been practicing this whole time. I should have known.
You do the intro. Jason or I goes first. You go second. And then whoever picks goes third.
Okay. Wait, I have to think of a third thing.
The 2 months off was not enough to get to or
I just can't think of like things. I only think of the things as I'm doing them. I don't like reflect.
Yeah.
I'm really bad at
that's
reflecting.
part of the point of this podcast.
I know, but
Yeah.
I'm not really picking up on that. It's not really.
It's to help us reflect. That's the
I
whole
know. I'm telling you, I just don't think that way. So I
someday
just.
you're
This
gonna
is
develop
why
this
I end up.
discipline, and it's going to be like, oh man, you know what? I'm glad I did this podcast because it forced me to learn to reflect on my life.
Nope.
Well,
No,
nope. I refuse. I refuse.
Well, it's not even that I refuse. My brain just doesn't work that way. I'll try. I mean, I haven't really tried to try, so maybe I will now.
Why have you not tried?
Tried to remember things as they happen.
Just
Oh,
you have
man.
your phone with you all the time. Just create a note, and when
I know. I don't even like take pictures. I was just talking about this with somebody. Like, some people they think to take pictures. They're like, later I'm gonna want a picture of this.
Right.
I'm not one of those people. I'm like, oh, I have no record of that ever happening.
Today I thought of it ahead of time, so then
I know you took a
Sorry.
picture of your computer.
I know. So I was the first. Like that was the first time. Like I didn't think of it in the moment. It's because I thought of it beforehand.
Nice. My buddy, when I was visiting out in California, the guy that like he converts my sermons into MP3s or whatever, he mentioned, he suggested, hey, have you ever thought about whenever we recommend something, putting a link on it to that Amazon Marketplace? Have you heard about this?
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Our pod will have its own page, Amazon page.
People could go on and buy it, and then we would get a little bit of kickback from it.
Yeah, no, but not only that, but if they click on the link while they're or listening to our podcast, the next 20 or 30 minutes, if they buy anything on Amazon, the cookies, it attaches cookies to it or something like that, and we end up getting a slice of it. Like let's say
that's cool.
We recommend a Malcolm Gladwell book, you know, and then they're listening to the podcast, and then they click. No, I don't think you do.
No, just the guy that you're talking about. No,
I think Steve Atkins does, and he's talked to you. Remember, he's the guy that he's asked you how do you do this podcast stuff.
Oh yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, he's got literally very little on his plate, and he's like, so if we could figure out if he would be willing to do it, like he'd be willing out to like a.
Well, I'd be willing to let him do it.
Yeah, and I think that might
able to give that part up.
It might just be taking like a conversation with you and Steve, and then as you post your podcast, or his name is Steve Atkins. Yeah, he's one of my
Atkins. That's my family's name.
That's right. That's right. They're right next to each other.
Is it AD or AT?
It's AT. There's no D.
Jason, you can't rock, man. I'm gonna get sick.
No, it's Scorsese.
No,
we were talking about this earlier.
It's like it's impossible. It's literally making me nauseous, man. Like I got motion.
It's Scorsese. It's cinematography while we podcast.
Jason's like literally saying, "No, I won't stop."
I love rocking. No. What's the point of a rocking chair if you're not rocking? You know,
the point of the rocking chair is to rock. There's nobody arguing that.
Yeah, but I'm doing it from a rocking chair.
You're recording a podcast.
I can't whistle, but if I could, I'd go. Anyway, okay, let's start this thing. We can't go till like 3 in the afternoon.
So Bianca's going first.
Okay.
She's gonna intro.
Wait, I intro and I give my first
Bianca's
one.
doing the intro. I'll go first.
Okay.
Bianca, you go second. Jason, you go third and pick.
Okay, got it.
I thought I was picking.
No, you're
We jacked you because we just want to hear you introduce. Go.
Okay.
So this is our favorite part.
Wait, let me write down my third thing. I thought of it, I just didn't write it down.
Are you still sick?
No, that was just a weird cough. I don't know why.
I've been really sick.
I haven't been sick in a while.
I've been really sick. I had passed it to everybody I know.
That ain't good.
That's the plus of being sick.
But I feel better now. They all do.
The only positive.
Go ahead, D. Take us on.
Okay. You are listening to This Week in Gratitude. We are 3 pastor friends to get together, talk about what we're grateful for. We are all over the nation. We are Greg in Texas, Jason in Michigan, and me, Bianca, in Washington State. And we're very glad that you tuned in and hope you like our podcast.
Back together again.
Got through it. How about that?
Yay! Oh, I forgot to say I was grateful for the listeners.
Yeah. Well, I think you're grateful to do the introduction. You just sounded super happy the whole way through that.
I didn't want to screw it up.
There's way more joy in your introduction than there is when Jason or I do it.
Amen. Amen. And that's
one of the reasons
gratitude.
we love it.
Yep.
If you do like the podcast, you can subscribe to it on multiple places now. You can do it on iTunes if you're an Apple person, or we also are on Google Play, which is a big deal. So if you're an Android person, you can go through Google Play and pull it up. And then I'm working on one or two other spots, but for now, those are the two you can get it. Subscribe to it so you get all the new ones, and then let people know about it, so they can listen too.
Okay, who starts?
I think I go first now, right? Is that what we agreed? Yeah,
Yep.
I go first.
Yep.
Okay.
And you might need to explain how it works.
Yeah, so it's called This Week in Gratitude. We each go through 3 of our favorite things from the last week. In this case, we're going to go from the last time we talked to each other, which is about a month ago. We've been on vacation and doing different things kind of all over the country. So that'll show up in our list probably. But basically, we give 3, and at the very end, whoever's turn it is ranks the top 5 of those 9. So the goal is to get as many in the top 5 as possible. At least that's how I think about it. Because I like to win things. Jason and Bianca don't care at all. But
yeah, you're playing a solo game there.
Yeah, but so my win percentage is off the charts. I'm the only one playing. All right, so my number 1 for this week, and these are always in no particular order until the end when they get ordered. My number 1 is our family vacation. We've been gone almost the entire month of July. It's been crazy just running around doing all kinds of different things. It's always awesome to see family and to hang out with family, and a lot of Abby's cousins have little kids now, and that's kind of fun to see them go through that stage of starting to raise kids, and all of that's cool. I had one particular moment I wanted to share on the podcast because it was just one of those really funny moments for me as a parent. So Josh and I, my oldest son, who's 16 now, drove to Culver's, which is like a fast food burger and custard place, and we were buying an order for the other people in the family who stayed at the lake. And so we're ordering everything, and as I'm ordering and like pulling up to the window, I tell Josh, hey, why don't you turn the Brewer game on the radio, and I'll get the order taken care of, and then we can listen to the Brewer game while they're fixing all of our food. And he said, okay. And then I didn't think about it again for a little bit, and then I got the food, and as I turned around, I realized the Brewer game is not on the radio. And he kind of looked at me and smiled, and I'm like, well, what's the deal? And he goes, Dad, I have to confess, I have no idea how to use a radio.
Oh my gosh.
He's 16, he's never had to use a radio before. Isn't that
even
crazy?
like a digital one? Like
Nothing. He uses his phone.
Arrows and stuff.
He uses his phone. Yeah, and it was just on the car, so it was a simple one, but he's never, like, until they're like 10 or something, they don't sit in the front seat anyway.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. And then now that he's been sitting in the front seat or whatever, I usually control the radio when I'm driving. So he's never done that. And
there's no other radios besides the ones in cars.
Right. There aren't really, right? I mean, that's Jason's got some at his house because he has albums and stuff, but at our house, we don't have a radio anywhere else in our house.
That explains so much for the middle schoolers when I ask them to change the station. They like don't even know that the arrow buttons are what move it. Because to them it's probably just a sea of buttons. Like they're like, how do you know which one to push?
What reminded me is like 10 years ago when I first moved to San Antonio, there was an old lady who bought a DVD player, and she could not get her head around like the table of contents at the beginning of a DVD. Because for the VCR, you just put the tape in and let it play. And so she'd put it in and then just sit back and watch. And so she thought her DVD player was broken because she could never watch anything.
Yeah.
She didn't realize there was like a whole nother step. But it's like, it's crazy, right? Like, so anyway, that was a fun, like, it just cracked me up because he was like so embarrassed by it in some ways and like kind of sheepish about it. It was just really funny. So
that's good.
That was a crazy one.
Well, that's what I like about our age is like we know the old stuff, but we're also like not too old to learn the new stuff too.
Yeah.
So we're
Except
like
for
just the
Snapchat. I
smartest
can't learn
generation.
Snapchat.
Oh, I've never even tried. Don't even ask.
I'm trying, but it's hard, man. I can't get Snapchat.
And they're really good at it. Kids are really
right?
good
It's
at
crazy.
it. I probably could, but like we're right in the middle. Like we're like, remember when we had to walk up to the TV to change the channel? And then
That's
also
right.
like, I have the newest technology.
That's pretty crazy. So anyway, that was a lot of fun. Vacation was a blast. Shout out to all of our family that we got to see on vacation, who listened to the podcast, which is like 2 of them maybe. And but then also just that was a fun moment of kids growing up and recognizing where we are in the state of the world and that kind of thing. So
yeah. So were you guys just in the Midwest the whole time?
pretty much, yeah. We went to Wisconsin for 2.5 weeks, something like that, and then we got back and then went to Mustang Island for a long weekend to do family camp for the diocese. So we've been away from the house quite a bit, and now the kids are on a mission trip, which I'll talk about later. But
okay.
So yeah, it's cool. But it was a
awesome.
good trip, but we're ready to be back and get started, I think.
Yeah, the Culver's stuff's delicious.
Yeah.
We won about 15 minutes from us. Fried cheese curds.
That's the stuff.
That's the stuff.
They make the best root beer too. They have really good root beer.
They do have really good root beer.
So shout out to Culver's.
Well,
yes, Culver's. Is it me or Jay? I forgot.
It's you.
Okay. I'll keep going on with the family theme in that in early July, my brother got married.
Yeah.
And new family. But my gratitude is that my family came into town. Most of them are from Texas. One of the families is from Indiana, but everyone else is from Texas. And so they were all out here and just like loving Seattle in summer and thinking of like, oh, maybe we should get a house up here and all this stuff. And it was just cool to like show them around. Some of them went to San Juan Islands, which even living out here, San Juan Islands are like my favorite spot. And so they went up there and went fishing with their families and stuff. And then, but my top gratitude is we are a big family. We're big Mexican Texan family that are pretty loud, but I do have a few cousins that are a bit quieter. They're like, we have a few introverts in our family, and my highlight was spending time with my cousins, two of my cousins, just, a bit quieter. They like the one-on-one, and I know how to deal with extroverts and introverts. And so just spending time with them, and I could just tell they're not the most comfortable. We're all like, it was their reception dinner. We went to my brother's bar, and oh man, we took it over, and we were very loud. And then so just spending time with them one-on-one and talking to them about where they are. They're older now than the last time I've seen them. They're both younger cousins than me. And just being able to spend that time with them and not just assume like, hey, if you don't know how to like butt into a conversation and tell the best story, then you're not a part of this family. Like, I just never want them to like think that. And and one of them lives in Austin, and so I'll see her when I go and visit in August. And anyway, so I love my big loud family, but I also love my quiet ones too. And just having them all here was really, really fun. And I hope they come out and visit more and more and more.
Nice.
Yes. And I did the wedding too.
How'd the wedding go?
So cool.
Yeah, it went really well. I had everything written down that I was supposed to say, but obviously like I've, not forgot total concepts, but just like words, and so one time Sarah handed me back her vows so I could put them in the little binder, and they fell on the ground, and everyone's like, and so in my mind, I'm like, I'll just get them later. Like the next thing is they leave down the aisle. I'll pick them up. Like, don't worry. And so in my mind, I didn't say that out loud. And then the bride goes to like bend over to get the vows. And I was like, no, I'll get them. So then just things like that where I'm like, can't predict that. and I told my family, this is my first service. And so they were, like, beaming. I said, just smile at me from the audience so I know that like I'm being supported out there. But apparently I did a good job. It's they had a videographer, so there's a video coming soon that we haven't seen yet. the whole ceremony, of the whole service. But I think it went really well. It was really short, so there wasn't a lot that we could have messed up.
Like occupational question.
Sure, but remember, it's my only wedding.
I know. What if you guys use that's helpful in premarital counseling?
I didn't do premarital counseling because it's my brother, but I did get some tips from Jason in case I did. What was yours, Jay?
I was turned on to this the Prepare and Enrich. Have you ever seen that stuff?
Yeah, I'm
great. It's an online deal, and it gives them. They fill out a test, and it lets you know where they're at. I think it's most helpful for the pastor.
Okay.
Especially if you don't know the couple at all.
Yeah.
I really liked that Prepare and Enrich program. It's online. I don't even know if the pastors pay anything. I know I had to do a seminar on how to use it, or something like I had to give up half a Saturday at one point. But I usually just model my premarital counseling after the premarital counseling I received,
Yeah.
And I could email you what I do.
Yeah. Send me that, would you?
I will. Piece of cake.
Awesome.
It's basically I meet with them 3 times. And then those 3 times I talk about certain things and I plan the service.
Yeah. Send me what you got. That'd be cool.
Perfect.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. That's it for me.
Nice.
My first, foremost, my most important. I don't know. No, it's not. We're not ranking them on importance. But this one probably will make the best because I'm saying it and I'm picking this week. But it's along the same lines. I know. No, but because it's the same. Is we've all been on vacation, and it's been a highlight, and I think I just frame mine on this vacation. I was especially grateful for, as pastors, God puts people in our lives that minister to us the way that we minister to other people, and this vacation that was made really abundantly clear. When I was out in Seattle for Bianca's ordination, it was the Atkins family. Dude, your parents loved on me, they ministered to me. And so on this vacation, there was a girl named Heidi Gim, high school friend of Malia's, and she took it for the team. Her family owns this house down in Oceanside, and she couldn't even go while we were out, but she asked for her 2 weeks to be when we were out there.
Oh,
so
wow.
We had this house on Oceanside, right on the front. So a shout out to Heidi Gim. And then Steve Atkins, he really ministers to me. He converts all my sermons. He showed me which recorder to buy and plug into the sound thing.
Yeah.
And then I email him, and he makes it in MP3 form and emails it back, and then I post it on our Facebook or whatever like that. But while I was out in California, every open moment, he would just show up and he would say, "Hey, you want a Keen coffee?" Which is my favorite coffee. "Hey, you want a favorite bagel?" He was just ministering to me like crazy.
That's awesome.
And then Malia's best friend, Aunt Pearson, and her whole family, Dale and all the Pearsons, they just ministered to me like crazy. Gnarly. Aunt Pearson, just a shout out to her. She's on Jen Hatmaker's podcast this next week. So if anybody's listening, I don't know when this, look up Ian Pearson and Jen Hatmaker, and you can find that podcast at some point. And then last but not least, Allie, right before I showed up to California, she came out and laid in. We pulled up tile the night we moved into the house and hadn't put it down. It was a year and a half ago, And so Allie shows up, and so we put it to work, and we put it in tile together. And so, she put it in tile, and I said, "Hey, good job. Can I get you some water?" And then last but not least, my little brother married this young lady named Jamie, and I officiated the wedding. It's coming up on 2 years ago, and Jamie's parents are Mark and Gretchen Davis, and they're like family. They're amazing.
And they love our podcast, so they'll probably
Gretchen listens all the time, so this is a shout out to Gretchen. And they found out it was Malia's birthday. She was in town. They got up early on Saturday morning, and they drove 8 hours from Auburn to be at Malia's birthday party, just to just say, hey, I love you. And then they went and they spent the night with Jamie and Andrew, and then drove back up because they had to work on Monday.
Wow.
Just ridiculous. That's just ministry. They just loving on me. Like, I don't know. Because a lot of times as a pastor, we complain. I don't know about you, but I complain. Like, where are the people that minister like we minister? Like, where are the people that are saying, I love you, like we say, I love you? But this is God's, like, here they are. You got them all around. So,
yeah, he made it really obvious.
Yeah, vacation, family vacation, just another slice of it.
That's awesome. I love that one.
Very fun.
All right, my number 2 in the last month or so is I'm trying to figure out how to rank this one exactly, but I really enjoyed the movie The Big Sick. It's really, really good. Did you saw it, B?
I saw it.
It's pretty sad.
It's not that sad.
I didn't say that.
Sad.
I said I saw it. Or did you think it was sad, Jay?
No.
Oh.
I never saw it. I thought you said that's really sad.
No, I said I saw it.
Oh, you saw it.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
You should go see it if you get a chance, or once it comes out on DVD or whatever. But it's in a lot of ways, it's just kind of a standard romantic comedy. But it's dealing with people from a bunch of different cultures and how they end up interacting with each other, and I think in some ways too, just what it means to become an adult currently in our culture. And I don't know. It's funny. It's got a bunch of funny stuff kind of throughout it, and the guy who stars in it is hilarious outside of that. So, but it was a really good movie. Abby and I both really enjoyed it. We'd been waiting for it to come out since we saw the trailer. So when it finally came to like regular theaters, it was like, yeah. So it was really good. I really appreciated the movie on a bunch of different levels, I think. But I would encourage anybody who hasn't seen it, if you have a chance to see it, go see it. Otherwise, once it comes out, look for it. It's a really good movie. I think it's the best movie I saw this summer.
It's with the guy from Silicon Valley, right?
Yeah. Yes, yeah. Dinesh from Silicon Valley.
Yeah, he and his wife, or he's a comedian, and he and his wife wrote that movie about their meeting, how they met and what happened to her and what happened to him. And he's from Pakistan, she's from the US, and that's what the movie is about too, but it's also their relationship in real life. I was surprised that people didn't know that was their actual story, so that's what I'm telling.
My wife didn't get that either until the very end.
Yeah, because the pictures of the real people.
Like
so specific.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, I like Kumail, and Kumail's the writer. Dinesh is his character's name in Silicon Valley. His actual name is Kumail, and his wife's Emily, and they're great. They're really big in the LA comedy scene.
Yeah. That's weird. I haven't seen it.
You should definitely see it. Take Malia and go see it if it's anywhere near you. Okay. It's just a really good movie, and I think there's a ton of questions from the movie that like what does it mean to love your kids when they don't believe what you believe? What does it mean to love your kids when they make choices you don't want them to make? All that kind of stuff is in there. It's just a really good movie.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So it's not real sad.
No.
Okay, good.
It's like kind of funny. I mean, Ray Romano plays her dad, and he's funny, and Holly Hunter is funny.
Yeah.
Just from the title, it sounds sad.
Yeah, I mean, there's like like any good movie, you're gonna feel more than one emotion.
Yeah.
No, not Ace Ventura. I was pretty much just laughing that whole time.
That was just one emotion the whole movie.
Yeah.
Does the title make sense after you've seen it?
Kind of. Yeah, it does.
Okay, good.
I mean, the girl is sick in the movie.
She gets sick.
Yeah.
I know, but I much like you don't like the title of the Shins, the band.
Yeah.
Title is like there's the Big Lebowski, there's the Big Chill, there's the Big. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know why they called it that. I actually don't know why they called it that, but
I would.
What they were going with.
I'm kind of opposed to the name.
Whatever. It's got a whole movie attached.
It's not that I'm not going to see the movie. I just wanted to.
Yeah, I think
it's one of those. It's one of those movies that I'm like, do I want to go see a movie called The Big Sick, or do I want to see
Yeah.
Baby Driver or
Well,
something like that.
Which is also an odd title.
Yeah.
Yeah, except for he is named Baby in the movie, so that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But the isn't the Big Sick like a synonymous name for love?
I've never heard of that.
Maybe.
I guess we could look it up.
I've never heard of that. I disavow that. I disavow that. That's awesome. That's awesome.
I think
if you had a choice between saying the Baby Driver or the Big Sick, which one should I say?
Both.
No, choice. That's the point. That's the definition of a choice. Like, I have to choose. It's like when you play Would You Rather. Like, when people say, no, I'd like to do both. No, that's the point of the game. Would you rather?
I just need a little more context.
Okay.
Are you going by yourself?
Yeah, with Malia?
Yeah, it's going to be by myself. Malia doesn't go to movies. She doesn't like movies outside the house.
All right. If you're going by yourself, go see
Baby Driver.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
That's the stuff I need, because that's the Big Sick means I'm going to be watching that thing later.
Yeah, you'll watch that at home.
You can watch it from that. You can watch that from home. That's fine. I really liked Baby Driver, by the way.
Oh, you saw it too?
Yeah, awesome. I've been hearing some negative things about it, before I saw it, and I was like, oh, maybe it's not as good as everyone says, but I really liked it. Like, I don't know what people were like looking for, but anyway, I liked it. I guess they didn't like the actor or something. I don't know. I would recommend that one. And then I rewatched Shaun of the Dead, which is just like
me too.
classic.
I watched that, and I like Hot Fuzz more than I thought I did.
I know. I watched Hot Fuzz with you the first time you saw it, and you were dying laughing the entire time.
Yeah,
but I like it even more. I like it even more now than I thought I did. That movie was really good. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway,
I think it's year 2. Otherwise, we're gonna be like 6 hours of this.
Yeah, I know. Okay. So mine's another summer thing. 3 days after my brother got married and all my family was in town, I went to camp for a week with the kiddos, with the middle schoolers. Woo! And since I was late getting out there, I had to drive myself instead of taking the bus, and that's just like totally miserable. It's 7 hours in the car, there and back. But camp is always really fun for me because I don't have to program anything. I'm just there with them. The camp does the program, and this is our 5th year going with. I've been there, so just getting to know the staff. I already know the staff pretty well. I know the campus pretty well. So it just sounds crazy, but it's like relaxing for me to go to camp, even though there's some high pressure things happening every once in a while during the week. But I just needed that for my summer. I get sick every time I go, which is too bad, but they're right on the lake. And so I just spend a lot of time on the lake taking kids out for like one-on-one talks. Their food is really good. Their director is just really knowledgeable and just gets it. The talks were really good this year. I think a lot of the kids were really picking up on the themes and stuff. And I don't know, every year meeting the new 6th graders, I always have a 6th grade cabin. So, and they're new to the ministry. So it's just really fun. I wish it weren't so back to back to like 2 of my busiest things in the summer, but it's just how it rolled. And I was exhausted, but I'm grateful for camps like Camp Spalding, who really care about kids. They really care about their location too. They take care of it. It's beautiful. More Northwest stuff going on, which I can't. I just really love the Northwest, even if it's out in Spokane. And anyway, I enjoyed it, and that was one of my top things this summer so far. All the summer's not over yet. Yeah.
Jason, do you get to do any camp ministry stuff in Michigan?
I don't, and I think that hopefully that'll change, but I haven't yet.
Yeah.
We do individual, like we did some family camping with a couple of families from my new congregation. That was fun. But I love that. There's a bunch of camps I know that are in Michigan.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure they're pretty good. I've heard good stuff about all of them.
Well, you're like in the perfect part of the world for camps.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting because you both have been to my house, right?
Yeah.
The Rich. It feels like my camp. Like,
yeah.
like,
In the
so,
forest.
like
That's true.
that's an interesting piece. So I wonder, yeah, it's just the other thing would be giving up some amenities and feeling even more of God's nature. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I was just curious because I know like what Bianca was naming there is something that is totally true for me when I work at camp.
Yeah,
Whether it's like family camp or kids camp or whatever, like it's just like there's a restorative element to it.
Yeah.
In our work, and I was just curious if you had it. Like, I know
no,
you
but
do it a lot. I didn't know if you did.
as I was stepping out of youth ministry and moving into missions, I was working with a guy named Dave Ludwig. You remember that guy, the tall,
Yeah.
6'7" kid?
Yeah.
He was actually rethinking all of youth ministry, and basically the whole program was steering towards just a camp. It's a camp program. Like he would do that Grand Canyon trip over spring break, and he would go to a summer camp, and then the in-between times were just times to kind of process and go through life together. But he really saw the great movements amongst the youth were continually when they're away at camp. Like and he was tired of kind of ignoring that, and just he put that on the stage and said, let's just run in that direction, and we don't really need to move towards movement. We just need to move towards community during the off camp times, I think it was starting to get legs and start to go places, which was neat. But yeah, I and even working at Forest Home,
Of course.
Something special about taking people out of their comfort zone and just taking away all their technology and just listening to one another and listening to God. I love it.
I think being away from the city helps, and they're not supposed to have their phones or anything like that.
And I'm sure Washington State, gosh,
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous, Ah.
Yeah,
that's a good one. That's a good one.
That's
all right,
awesome.
is it my number 2?
Yeah.
Okay, my number 2. Oh, man, since we haven't been together so long, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna put 2. I'm gonna put 2 in 1, but it's just gonna count as a book, and then we're just gonna. This is the summer reading thing.
Okay.
And one of them is a John Grisham novel. You think of what's that one? 30 Rock, the rural.
The Rural Juror.
But this one's just an old Grisham novel. My mom read Grisham novels, and she went to be with the Lord in 2003, and I never really got into just reading novels because I'm always like, I want to be deeper than that, I want to be more meaningful than that. But then I found the joy of just reading a story.
A good story.
A good story. So I read The Associate, and it's just because my brother-in-law's mother was in town. She lives in California, and she had just finished it. She handed it to me, and I read it. Just a good little Grisham novel, The Associate.
This Grisham guy is onto something. Has anyone ever heard of him before?
this Grish guy.
Breaking news.
That kid can read. It's one I checked out from the library. I think I saw him on Late Night with Colbert. I think I had just picked up the book because of the title. It's called The Secret Art of Not Giving an F.
Yeah.
And it's by Mark Manson. He's a blogger, and it starts like you would expect it to start, with tons of cussing and tons of like don't give a F and blah blah blah, like whatever. But it actually settles into this guy who's been blogging has learned some stuff. He's become like a cultural anthropologist, and he's put his finger on some actually Christian like truths, but he doesn't know that they're Christian. Well, he may or may not know that they're Christian. Just that contentment doesn't come. It comes with putting the right priorities at the top of the heap, and he does make like some stupid statements, but on the most part, I was really impressed by how actually wise this young dude was. He stumbled across some pretty neat truths in just listening and communicating amongst bloggers. So I recommended it. It kind of fizzled out Like the strongest part's like in the middle, but yeah,
that's cool.
Those are my 2 books.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm still working through some of the books we talked about before we were on break. So
Nice.
Yeah, me too. I haven't had time.
I didn't watch any TV or movies. I think that's probably my number 2. Is I didn't watch TV or movies. I didn't listen to much. I just read a lot. I was in a beach chair watching my kids, making sure they're not drowning, and every once in a while looking up,
That's the worst lifeguarding. Like if all lifeguards had books, you would never trust them at all.
It's true. It's true that Malia was always there, and she is a better parent. Everybody knows that. Anyway.
Yeah, that's a good.
So I think that's my number. My number 2 is probably just
unplugging.
Unplugging and just reading novels and reading like just fun stuff to read, not heavy stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I like that stuff. All right, my number 3. I said I'd bring this up again later. My kids, my 3 older kids, all went on a mission trip this last week. So they've been gone all week in Orlando, Florida, which sounds like a terrible place to have to do a mission trip. But
muggy.
Yeah, but it's been fun. One of our 2 oldest have done mission trips every summer, basically for a week at a time or whatever. And then Josh has gone with me to the Dominican Republic and stuff. And so they're kind of comfortable with it, and they've done it enough. And then Colette, this is her first time, which was a little scary for her, but she kind of rallied. But it was the first time any of them had gone on one where Abby or I wasn't there. So, which is also fun because my mom took Ellen, which meant that Abby and I have had like the whole week by ourselves, which has never, like, I don't know if that's ever happened.
Maybe your first week of marriage.
Yeah, maybe our first week of marriage. That might be it. So, but that's been it's been a huge blessing. I don't even know if they did good mission work or not. But it's been a blessing in our house. But I think with the kids and following on Instagram and stuff, I think they're learning a lot, and it was really good for them. The craziest story that came out of the week so far that I've heard from anybody is Calvin and his team. They go through group mission trips. So shout out to group mission trips if I remember to put that in a link later. But so they're in Orlando, and Calvin and his team are working at this like thrift store, sorting like clothes that are coming in or whatever. And somebody just backed into the building, like through the front doors in the building. Yeah. So, and they had been there like 10 minutes before. They had just moved out of that area.
Oh my god.
So there were like 3 people hurt, but I think they were all in the car. And then none of the kids actually, but it's like one of those, like as a youth minister, it's like, oh, this is the worst possible thing that could happen. Bianca's about to die.
And they're like 500 miles from home.
Exactly. So now that prompted a conversation where like Calvin called Abby, and then Abby called me, and this is gonna shock you guys, but I did not get worked up enough about it.
According to whom? Everybody?
Well, according to Abby, but probably everybody. But my first question was, well, he didn't get hit, right?
So, he only witnessed people getting okay. Just a little,
He witnessed it. It's like when you drive by an accident on the road.
It doesn't seep into your psyche at 10 years old or anything like that.
I get why he would be upset about it. I don't understand why the rest of us would be upset about it.
Okay.
And he's almost 15, so he's gonna see stuff.
Wait, how old is he?
He'll be 15 in a month.
Oh wow.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Anyway, that's a crazy story from Mission Trip. We've all got some crazy ones, but that one was like, what? I've never even heard of that before. But that's as a leader of that trip, I would be terrified. But I told him that like the odds of that happening again are non-existent.
Yeah.
And it never happened once.
I love that attribute about you, that you swing way unsafe. I like that. It makes me think of that movie. You remember the movie American President with Michael Douglas?
Yeah.
He comes in and what's his face? Michael P. Keaton. What was that guy's name? That actor.
I don't remember.
Michael J. Fox.
Oh, Michael J. Fox.
Yeah. Michael J. Fox goes, we need to appear like we're not panicking. And then Michael Douglas says, actually, we need to not panic.
Well, that was my emotional response to it. Of like, I don't know why I would be anxious or scared now. It already happened. Like if you told me like 5 minutes before it happened, we're gonna crash a car into your kid's building, I'd be a little more worked up about it. But once it already happened and he was safe,
I got a question. Have you and Abby, while the kids are away, have you guys gone rollerblading?
No, no, we have not.
Or roller skating or anything?
Nope, nothing.
Bowling? Okay,
no, we've gone out on dates and stuff, but we haven't gone any youth ministry activities. We have not done.
Play basketball together.
Just check it.
Good question. I can understand why you think we might do that. Yeah.
And then when you said Orlando, Florida, I said, "Wow, muggy," and that just brought me back to California. I was talking about how muggy it was. Yeah. And younger generations don't know what that word means.
Really?
Yeah, that's lost its, like, what does muggy mean?
Huh.
And I would just say, it's like human. And then they'd say, why don't you just say it's human? But anyway, I had that conversation like twice or three times.
Well, that's an interesting, I don't know. I guess.
Where did muggy come from?
I don't know.
Me neither.
I've always heard it though. I guess
it makes more sense than human, I think. Anywho.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I don't.
So was that your 3?
That was my 3rd one. Yeah. So now B's up.
Yeah, I'll go. And I'm glad Jason's choosing because you're gonna choose this one, Jay.
Oh, come on!
I hope it's program.
Not that it's competitive or anything. But on Thursdays we do Bible studies outside of the church campus, and so last Thursday we went to Whidbey Island to do woodworking with a friend of Jason's who he and his wife live out in Whidbey Island now, and so they came to my ordination. Well, the husband Glenn came to the ordination, and then the next day Heather came down and we all spent time on Bainbridge together, even met my family. We all went out to dinner. And he mentioned that he either at the time I thought he had a wood shop, but he's actually working on getting a wood shop. But he uses his friends out in Whidbey to do his job, carpentering, being a carpenter. And and so I made a plan for that this summer that I would take some of the middle schoolers out and we would do a woodworking project. And it was last Thursday, and so we all went out to Whidbey Island. He created all of this pre-cut and everything stuff. He made this. We all made birdhouses, but it was because he had, formed all of the parts together. That the kids, all they needed to do was glue and hammer and sand a few things. And I did not prompt the kids to do this, but they literally were just sanding, being like, this is the most fun thing in the entire world. like this is so fun. Like, we should do this again sometime. And I'm like, guys, like, I didn't even tell you to say that. And so they had so much fun. I think once again, like the camp idea, like just get them out of the city, like Whidbey Island is like, I mean, you're kind of in the middle of nowhere, like barely any service. I mean, it's right across the water. It's an island in the Sound, but just not a lot of houses, a lot of trees, a lot of dirt roads there. And so just getting the kids on a ferry out of the city makes a big difference for them. And then doing this fun project that clearly this adult had spent a lot of time thinking about them and considering, what they're good at and making it fun. And we were outdoors, which is really fun doing the project. I think it spoke a lot to them. And so I'm grateful for, there's so many layers to this story, but I'm grateful for friends, introducing friends, expanding a network of people who are just very caring out there. I think we can't ever have enough of those in our life. Friends that, care about what you care about. So I care about youth, and Glenn, I think he cares about youth too, but he considered that and having us over and hosting us. He bought everybody a hammer, so all the kids went home with the hammer that they used, and the birdhouse. And that's so ridiculous. Yeah, it was. And so the kids,
and he's a listener. Glenn's a listener, just to give you a heads up.
Oh, okay, maybe he likes podcasts. So yeah. And at the end he brought out this like engraving machine, so the kids were engraving their names. Like, this is cool tools, just like awesome tools. You just bring them out and the kids are like, how does this work? And so they were engraving on their hammer their names and stuff. And anyway, so I'm really grateful to Glenn. I'm really grateful for Jason introducing us out here in the Northwest, and just grateful that it was a great time, and that the kids are definitely going to want to do it again. We go to Tijuana. In high school, they're going to go to Tijuana, so now they've actually swung a hammer at least once before we asked them to build a house. So that was a plus. Anyway, and they're cool birdhouses. Some of the kids didn't want to put the front on the birdhouse to make it a shelf. So they made little shelves for their desks and stuff. Oh man, they're just adorable. So anyway, big one. Woodworking on Woodby last
That's
Thursday.
a huge one. That's a huge one.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I love that story. I love that made top 3. I love it.
Yeah.
And just P.S. just to wrap it back to my first one, I mentioned Ian Pearson.
Yes.
And Dale Pearson. Dale is Glenn's older brother.
Oh yeah, Glenn
So
Pearson. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
it's all the same fam. Like Malia's best friends, and it's just crazy.
It's
just really crazy.
I love it when people are super talented and they share.
Yeah.
He's very good at what he does.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And just to put a seed in your mind.
Yeah, he used to woodwork with Zeke when they all lived together.
No, just to put a seed in your mind. So next time you go to Tijuana, that guy he would be willing to say no to everything he's doing and go with you guys.
That's a good point. I never even thought about that.
He could build a house from the foundation up in like a minute. This guy, he's insane. He's
very good with the youth. Like I wasn't expecting that. I thought he was very good with them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Anywho, okay, that's awesome. That's a good one. So I don't even need to say my third one just because you just said the third one. I don't know. Maybe I'll say my third one. I'll just say my third one, and it's my longest one. Okay, everybody buckle in. No, I'm just kidding.
Of course.
I'm just kidding.
Of course it is.
But I do. My third one is the fact that we serve a sovereign God that has fingerprints all over everything. I did a funeral in February or March of a guy named Ray Carlson, and he died a week after he turned 93, and he looked just like my grandpa. So then that caused me and my wife mainly, to say, you need to go visit your grandpa. So I flew down to Texas and said hey to my grandpa. Do you remember? I was on the podcast.
Yeah, all of these have been on the podcast so far.
All these have been on the podcast so far. And then I go out to California for my wife's 40th birthday. My wife's 40th birthday is July 11th. My grandfather, he passes into the kingdom eternal on July 13th.
Oh.
Yeah, and so I happen to be out in California where his bride is buried, El Toro, California, and so we just extend our vacation. And I had the honor of doing his funeral in El Toro on July 27th, whatever that Thursday is.
That's the day we were doing woodworking.
Yeah, July 27th, that's right. And then and the 28th would have been my grandfather's 96th birthday. And just see God's finger. It was crazy that Ray passes away and I'm called, I just hear the Spirit say, hey, go see your grandpa, give him love. And then we're out in California just because Malia's turning 40 and Malia wants to turn 40 in her home state. And my grandfather passes into the kingdom eternal. And I pretty much did the same exact funeral service that I did for Ray, for my grandpa Warren George Brunn. The guy is just the man. He fought the good fight, He'd finished the race. He kept the faith. And I'm just really, it's every once in a while you just get a glimpse.
Yeah.
Of that God's got a plan, there's a little sorrow in that I won't see my grandpa anymore this side of heaven, but it's mainly just contentment and joy because I had listened to the Spirit at the right time.
Yeah.
And it's just so cool that we get to serve a God that cares about us enough to make sure that we show up at the right time in the right places and that kind of stuff. So that's my 3.
Yeah, I don't know where to respond to that. That's cool.
Yeah, I don't know where to go. It just made this, grateful. I guess I'm grateful for Warren George Brunn's because I know that his prayers and his faithfulness have a lot to do why I'm a pastor and why I love God as much as I do. So,
oh man.
So yeah, moment of silence.
Yeah.
And boom. Now,
it's so funny. Podcast. Yeah.
That's a trigger word for Bianca. Silence, and she'll giggle. If you say silence, anyway, okay, I get to pick.
You get to pick.
Obviously, Warren George Bruns, he goes at the top. Yeah, he's just too grateful for that.
That's
grateful for that dude. Family vacation we all had there.
Nice.
And I particularly liked, if it was a battle of the stories, I think your Culver's not knowing what a radio is. That wins the battle of the stories.
Yes.
Yes. I'd say the Big Sick. I want to put the Big Sick on there.
You haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it.
You and I both loved it, B. So.
Yeah. Well, I liked it.
You guys both loved it, and I think the world needs rom-coms because that's what my wife watches with some depth, which is what I like. So how many is that? Got Warren, Family Vacation, so the Big Sick, and then we'll do Camp, just because I love Camp.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then you got to do Glenn and Heather. I got Stu. Glenn and Heather on Woodby Island, just keeping faithful to the Lord, just keeping faithful to one another, loving life, and then sharing their lives with youth of UPC. And just it's fun. It's fun when like we love the same people. Cool. Like the overlap. Like of Travis Wright, and Allie Melancholy, like those people that we all love. I think they make life better.
Yeah, no question. Hey, I don't know. This is probably not the right time to do this. But it probably would have been right away at the beginning of the podcast, but I'm not going to edit it. So,
are we going to sing a song?
Yeah, that's what I was hoping. If we could all what I really like, I thought we should check in on following up on some of these bests that we do all the time.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. We talked before the podcast started, so it might not end up making the podcast, but we talked about revisionist history with Malcolm Gladwell. Yep. And that the newest ones are really good, but the King of Tears is like the best one he's done ever, probably. And Bianca and I both love that one. And then I was going to tell you guys, I finally watched a chunk of Jane the Virgin.
Yeah, I was going to jokingly say that, and then you actually said it.
Yeah, so I got 3 or 4 episodes in. I've slowed down a little bit. But I did enjoy the first 3 episodes, and it is legitimately really funny. So,
it's actually good.
On that one, it's
like a soap
I actually liked something one of you guys recommended.
We actually tried something out, which is more.
Yeah. I normally try out Jason's music, and then I always regret it. But
no, there's a couple you've been liking, haven't you?
There's a couple. But anyway, so those are 2 that we had talked about, and I listened to, and then also the podcast.
The beginning song is so catchy.
They did their draft of sports rules.
Yes,
I liked that one, and then they did their draft of salty snacks, and I thought they were way off all over the board.
But it's still funny,
I guess. But that Triscuits got picked ever is insane to me. That's like the worst food on the planet.
And they didn't get called out for saying.
I know, neither one of them
was a salty snack that anyone would choose
ever.
Ever.
That's insane.
And then they had arguments about flavors and stuff, and I was like, no Triscuits would ever break the top 10.
Right. If you need something else on it to make it edible, then it doesn't.
Or a gallon of water in order to drink to eat it. Anyway, Podcast is a really good one. That's Michael Schur and James Poznansky podcast that I love.
Those were 3 things that I remember being recommended by you guys that
You still like hot tubs in the summer?
I like hot tubs whenever. I'm a hot tub fan, period.
That's crazy talk.
And you're still zero chili, even though that's the American dinner for summer.
Zero chili. I will say I ate a lot of brats in the last month, and I don't regret any of them. My only regret is that I didn't eat more.
That will wreck you.
Like chicken broth?
No, brats.
Broth.
I bet you said broth. Like, okay.
Love some broth, man.
No.
Pass the bone broth. Pass the bone broth.
Crazy.
Did you get that text? I texted you that Low Tom is playing in Seattle. That's the reason I texted you that, B. I don't know if you're on vacation at that point or down in Texas visiting people, but Low Tom is playing some. That's David Bazan.
Oh, I did. I clicked on that.
Jason Martin, all this stuff. There's dates. You guys get all the good music.
Yeah, San Antonio gets hosed on that stuff, man. Because of Austin and Houston.
Everyone should just move here. I'm trying to think if I have any updates. I would say I listened to that Ryan Adams CD and it was really good.
Nice.
I wanted to listen to that. You said there was a singer here in Seattle who was at your conference.
Yeah.
I still haven't. Poor Claire.
Oh gosh.
Don't even get me started on that.
I did listen to that though. I did listen to that because Allie was in town and she had a bunch of it.
Yeah.
So we listened to it. I like her. I like her a lot.
Good, right?
Yeah, she is.
I think it's cool that she's doing something that I think needs to be done in the church.
Me too. I love that. I love good theology with some simplistic and like minimalist music. I like it.
Yeah. All right. So anyway.
Oh, Jason Isbell too. I'm getting into Jason.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
Yes.
His new album.
The new one's wicked good. I'm a big fan.
Yeah. Anything if it's on Spotify, I'll give it a chance. Do I have to go search for it? No way.
No way.
No way. No way, Jose.
Our 8-year-old Ellen heard anxiety for the first time the other day and had no idea what anxiety means. And so it was just funny because she's like, "What is anxiety?" And then she just walked around saying anxiety over and over again.
And it gave everybody
moderately to the tune of the song on the Isbell album. But yeah, so
how did you explain it?
I said it's when you're nervous about things you have no control over.
You just wanted to show off that you can define things really well. Pointing Tony over there.
Did the 8-year-old pick up on that or get it?
Big definer.
Like, so like when your stomach hurts because you have a test or something. And I was like, yeah, kind of like that.
That's exactly anxiety inducing.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does this rocking make you feel?
Yeah, like if I was anxious. I'm anxious you're gonna go right through the window, Jason.
No way.
That'd make a good podcast. Okay.
All right. Love you guys. We'll talk to you next week.
Okay, bye.
Sign up and like us.